How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're here at Gardaland Resort, Italy's probably biggest theme park in the country. Home to some great rides including Oblivion, the Black Hole, a B&M dive coaster that expands upon the original Oblivion at Alton Towers. We've also got Raptor, the world's first B&M winged coaster. We've also got great shoot-the-shoot rides like this one, Fuga di Atlantide. We've also got Blue Tornado. We've also got Shaman, Wolf Legend, I think it is, which is like a croc drop, plus some other recognisable attractions that you may see. Of course, owned by the Merlin Entertainment group, so you're going to expect to see some great theming. There's also Minecraft Meet the Mobs here as well. Now, we've already had a day here earlier this week, just because we're on holiday. So our first actual proper day, we did a lot more of these rides here. So with this vlog, we are still going to show you around some of our favourite rides. However, it's going to be more so a case of very select few rides, but, you know, talking about the best ones that we do enjoy. So anyway, we have had a ride already on Fuga di Atlanta, or Journey to Atlantis, a shoot-the-shoot style of ride. And I've got to say, I know Jade loves it. For me, it is a superb ride. I would like to wish you do get wet on it, because it seems like it's the one bit that's missing with this ride. But apart from it, theming-wise, it's absolutely amazing. There's a great actual centerpiece with a massive statue of Poseidon itself. But apart from that, you know, it's great theming all around, a decent length to it. Something that I really do enjoy. We've already had about 4 rides on it in our trip so far.
It's perfect as it is.
It's perfect as it is, especially at night time as well. It looks really sick at night. Not to mention all the clean water as well. It looks great. So we're going to show you a few more shots of these, and then we're going to make our way around the park as well. But if you are going to enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's get straight on with it.
Is there another one coming up?
There's a little bit there, but then we're going up another little bit.
Painful, but good. Or decent.
As you can see behind me, we have Blue Tornado, one of the first roller coasters to come into Gardaland, a Vekoma SLC. And if you are of anything of a theme park enthusiast, you'll know that these types of rides are bloody painful. That much so, we're not going on it today. We did it the first time round, and it was, I would argue, a little bit smoother than the likes of Infusion at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Jade's disagreeing with me. She thinks it's one of the roughest rides she's ever done in her life. If you watch our Movieland vlog, and where we talk about Diabolico, I would argue that's probably the smoothest ones of that type. However, this one, yeah, it looks visually nice. There's a good bit of theming around it, a little bit more than what you get with, say, Infusion. The overall ride experience is just so rough. It's painful, it jolts your head, the restraints aren't very comfortable. Bear in mind, right, I'm sunburnt, so it's literally pressing on my shoulders, which wasn't ideal. Again, visually, it's nice to look at off-ride, and I like the idea of the blue accented with the white, the turbojet, the little bits of water. But overall, it's something that I don't think, you know, holds up very well at the park. Let's go and move on and actually go and get on something that's worth our time. In 2015, Oblivion, the black hole, would open here at Gardaland, taking elements from the original Oblivion at Alton Towers, whilst following up with the addition of a black hole storyline. Riding this the first time round on the visit here, I was completely mesmerised. It was the one ride that I was looking forward to most when visiting Gardaland and ultimately coming to Italy. And I've got to say, it massively lives up to it. I love the idea of Oblivion. I wish it was always a little bit longer, and this is exactly what it is. It's a follow-up to Oblivion. It's still got that intimidating drop as we start off the ride, but then what it does, it goes that little bit further. There's a bit more theming towards the actual drop itself with the black hole elements. Like there's all vans, railings, fans all scooped into this black hole to look like it's all warped and stretched. You then come out of that, you come out into an inversion, straight over into an airtime hill, and then a lovely corkscrew to finally end off the ride. It's what the original one missed. It missed that little bit more going into it. I would say that the initial drop itself doesn't feel as intense as Oblivion, but everything else about it surpasses the original Oblivion. The theming, even the station itself, the whole black, white and grey, you know, that corporate feeling, that ministry style of experiment that they're going for, trying to work out what's in the black hole itself. The use of 3x6, which is quite a nice addition. We've had all three rides on, we've had multiple rides, but we've experienced all three of the rows, so front row, back row, and obviously the middle row. The middle row is obviously a bit tamer. The front row is definitely the best for all the views itself and that initial experience, and then the back row just for that whip over the actual drop itself, and then the last bit of inversions to pick up that speed and momentum. It's a superb ride. Keep coming off it. I keep wanting to go back on. I keep wanting to experience it. It's my favourite ride that we've experienced at Gardaland and ultimately in this Italian trip, and it's one that I do rate very highly. I love the theming. I love the creative time and elements that it brings to it. I overall think it's a great addition, something that if it was ever doable on Towers, I'd love to see that getting a little bit of an addition as well in terms of giving it a bit more elements, especially with that inversion, because I do think just that smidge bit longer, it could really stand up there. But Oblivion Black Hole, a great addition here at Gardaland Resort. So it's been about 30 minutes later. We've done the 4D cinema experience, which was alright, to be fair. It just felt like a bit of a 5-minute show, just going through the different areas of the park. Some nice effects, but not really anything special or spectacular. And now we're here in the Gardaland Theatre for their show District 51 Hangar of Mystery. Saw this the other night. We've come in here just purely for the air conditioning. But it's like a magic theatrical experience. Some good effects, some good magic stunts. But like I said, if you need to cool down, come in here, sit in here for about 20 minutes. It runs from 4 and then there's one at 8 o'clock. Bear in mind the park opening hours for our visit today is 10 till 11 p.m, which it pretty much is for most of August and mid-July. So if there's one benefit to coming to Italy this time of year and to Gardaland as well, is you get 13 hours at Gardaland. However, I wouldn't say it's a 13-hour park. But again, that's something we can discuss later. Anyway, we're going to watch the show, enjoy the air conditioning, and then we'll see you later. So we've just come off Jumanji The Adventure there, a similar ride style to what you'd find of the Curse of Alton Manor, however a few more extra effects thrown into it. Now whilst today's ride on it wasn't exactly the best of rides, there are a few effects spoken, including the main effect on the actual car itself, where it includes like the little gem that lights up. That wasn't working, unfortunately. However, in terms of an actual ride experience, that for me is what the Curse of Alton Manor should be, where your car actually does a little bit of tilting, there's a few more use of some screens to portray some little movies, but also there's still some physical elements to it. Some great theming that goes on in there, and especially the actual moments where it actually combines that use of the screens plus the actual car rocking back and forward. That's what for me Curse of Alton Manor should be. Because again, Curse of Alton Manor's got a great theming, but it's just one flat ride throughout. Whereas this feels a little bit dimensional, a little bit more interactive, and it does provide a bit more of a sensation when going around. Yes, it's a little bit short on this go, but it's still a great ride and a great experience. Plus, if you want to cool down as well, go and give this a go. So a great ride, a very well surprising ride, because I wasn't anticipating much from it. However, it does definitely surprise me. Considering what they've done with the Jumanji world at Chessington and what they do here, it's clear to see that there is a great sense of theming capable by Merlin. It'd just be nice to see it replicated going forward. But yeah, great ride there on Jumanji, The Adventure.
Got it.
Monorail.
Jamais beau. Proviamo.
So then following on from that, we went on the Colorado boat log flume ride, which is pretty nice. Only my MJ around that one, which great, means we went by super fast, and we also got some really good splashes. But some lovely great views, a really decent log flume ride, something that we do lack in the UK. And then we've come over to Raptor, the first B&M winged roller coaster, opening in 2011. Is it as good as the Swarm? No, not in my opinion. The theming's not as quite as good, as impressive. If anything, it's more of the same theme that you find on the Swarm. And in terms of the actual ride itself, yes, it's smooth. There's a bit of a rattle, especially if you're on towards the back row. Also, tight restraints as well does really hurt. I think the biggest letdown is the first drop itself. Rather than having that inverted turn and then drop, it's just a straight downward dip. And it feels like with the Swarm, they kind of learned the lessons from Raptor and they made some better elements. Even though it's a bit short, it still feels like a much better ride than what we've got the experience here with Raptor, but it's still a great way to end. I think the plan is for now, we're going to take a short break and then come back in the evening for one final night ride on Oblivion the Black Hole. So we will come back and see you after that. If not, then we'll give you a wrap up of our time at Gardaland. But yeah, decent ride, definitely better. Swarm is definitely better though than Raptor. Again, the theming is quite cool. It's nice to get these B&M wing coasters, but I definitely prefer the Swarm over Raptor any day of the week.
All right.
Where it's mine.
2 hours later, we are back at Gardaland for the last few hours of operating hours till 11 PM. And we went back on Fuga de Atlantis, or Journey to Atlantis. Oh, what an amazing ride. We did a sort of medium boat ride on the first go, went straight back round, and we got a front row ride for the first and probably last time of this trip. And wow, what an amazing experience. The front row, you definitely do feel a little bit more in terms of getting soaked, and especially if you have people on like the super soakers at the end. Overall, again, it'd still be nice to see people get a little bit more soaked on it, but what an overall experience, especially at night time with all the lighting and just the general vibe that you get, plus the lack of people as well, makes it very easy for re-rideability. Just going to show you a few shots of the actual ride itself at night, but yeah, what an amazing experience. I think we're going to head over to Oblivion the Black Hole for our last rides of this Gardaland trip and wrap up our thoughts on Gardaland today. Must film. Film must. See, that's recording as well, so that's going to hear me. It's recording as well, so that's going to hear me say that. Well, what a way to end off a fantastic nighttime experience at Gardaland with Oblivion, the black hole. Our first ride being a back row right towards the end seat, and then a front row ride towards the middle of the row. Two amazing rides at night time. The more and more I've gone on this, I managed 8 rides on this trip, which is really well doing for me. I absolutely love this ride. I just think the speed it gets, especially when it's warmed up throughout the day, the airtime hill, the inversions, the theming, the lighting, as a complete package. I absolutely love this ride. I fell in love with it. I wanted to fall in love with it when we first booked this trip. I'm so glad to have come away from it feeling the love for it. It's going to be one of the coasters I'm going to miss mostly from this trip, and it's really a real highlight for me of Gardaland. Make our way to the entrance then, capture the last few images including the main tree itself in Promesio Land, and then we'll wrap up the day at Gardaland. But yeah, what a sick ride. Shamed we're going to have to say goodbye to it though. So after a fabulous few visits to the park, our time at Gardaland came to an end and we're back home in the UK, reflecting on what has been a unique visit to Gardaland and experiencing another Merlin park attraction outside of the UK. Now Gardaland for me has a plenty of good points, but it also has a few bad points. Let's focus on what was good. Oblivion the Black Hole is a superb roller coaster, something that really exceeds its sister location at Alton Towers UK, expanding upon it a bit more, giving it a bit more theming, a bit more story, but not to mention the actual ride itself, giving it a bit more length and inversions, something that I think a lot of people do think about when it comes to Oblivion, and ultimately is delivered on that package for me when I wanted to come here, and I'm really sad that I'm not going to get to ride for a very long time because it is a superb roller coaster. Something that for me, when I was discussing it with Jade, if it's one of those things I had to ride all day, I wouldn't have minded. Yes, it would have probably become a bit more boring over time, but it is a smooth and enjoyable B&M roller coaster. Wake the Atlantis for me was a great water ride as well. The theming is tremendous. It would have been nice to have seen that when it first initially opened for the park, because you can kind of see the theming has faded a little bit here and there, but for the most part it's a really great experience. Just be nice to get a little bit more of a splash on there. And then just in general, the overall theme and the vibe of the park, it's very upbeat. It does have that Portaventura vibe. Again, me and Jade were talking about this a lot, but it does come across that way with the music, the general open areas, the theming that goes into from the Wild West bits leading into Oblivion itself, to the area with Jumanji, Shaman and Wolf Legend, to some of the rides and just general shows that go into the park. There is a real sense of idea that, yes, this can be a 2-day park, as there is a lot to fill in. Don't get me wrong, some of the rides that they have don't look the best. I think the rocket bit itself towards the bottom by Shaman, Rocket Factory and Dragon Beat, they were one of those rides that had the most amount of queues, and they're the most simplest of rides. Don't get me wrong, it's for different people, but from when we went in the Rocket Factory, it looked absolutely terrible, and to be quite honest, it's a bit of a naff attraction. And the Dragon Beat itself, one of those travelling spinning rides. Sure, I mean, for me personally, there's one at West Midlands Safari Park that I'd rather go and experience, but again, it's not exactly going to blow me off my seat. Blue Tornado, for the most part, in terms of SLCs, was actually pretty smooth. But in saying that as well, it's not exactly like it's leveling up on Infusion or Diabolic. I'd much rather go on Diabolic and Vertigo at Movieland than I would on Blue Tornado and Showed, because it was the only time we went on it was the first day we visited. Shaman was okay. And Mammoth was fine. It reminded me more of El Diablo than Mine Train at Portaventura. And then some of its other filler attractions. Like, there's good stuff and then there's bad stuff. Operation wise, it was very good. They were getting trains out, they were moving at some pace with them. I think the most we ever queued was 25 minutes for Shaman on the first day, but that was because he was running on one train operation, and I think it did go down at one point, plus some of the seats weren't actually being filled. So it was pretty decent from queue times, and it was really surprising for big as a park as Gardaland is, it didn't really have that much of a queue for anywhere. Most of the rides we were getting on within 5 to 10 minutes. Even towards the night time with the 11 o'clock finishes as well, we were still getting on rides pretty quickly. And staff were pretty nice for the most part, so fair play to them. I can't help but feel like, though, with Gardaland, it's one of them parks that's not exactly screaming out to me like I want to visit it again. I love Oblivion, the Black Hole, and Fuga de Atlantis, but it's not enough to make me want to go back just to experience those two rides. Because everything else, and especially in our visit, once you've done a lot of those rides, you were really picking out the ones that you only wanted to do. And that's all that we ended up doing, really. Which isn't a bad thing, you know, people do have their certain rides in mind. Some people even only go for one ride. But for a park as big as Gardaland, bear in mind it's a Merlin Entertainment group company, it's something that should really be screaming for people's wallets and attentions. I'd like to see what it's like at Halloween, see what they do in terms of if they had mazes or whatnot. But it's something that for now, it doesn't really scream to me that I need to come back again. I was reading online and there was some suggestion that a new attraction would be coming in for the next few years, like an indoor roller coaster, something similar to what you'd see with Uncharted at Portaventura. I know I mention it a lot, but there's a lot of similarities to Portaventura, so it's very interesting to see if that is where potentially the park is going towards. Then sure, I think a wooden coaster would really suit it well. I know I do mention it a lot, but wooden coasters do provide a lot of character, but it also provides a different type of ride experience and being a bit more of a white knuckle experience. Something like that I think would really suit the park as well. Or just something a little bit towering with a little bit of speed, like some sort of launch element to it. I think that would also be pretty cool as well. So yeah, it's not a bad park. The theming in places is really superb. It's just something that I don't think really grabs people's attention enough to make them warrant coming back year after year or even month, very few times a year. It needs something big, I think, and it's something that I'm not going to say wouldn't happen, but for now, you just have to keep your fingers crossed and hope for any news. It's also one of the parks that did feature the Minecraft Meet the Mobs event. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about this when we do go to Alton Towers eventually, but for the most part, it was okay. I think watching it in person, it didn't really suit Gardaland as much because it never really seemed to draw a queue. Again, it could be down to the weather, but for the most part, people just seem to ignore it or just only using the stamp bits itself. I feel bad for the staff having to play with the puppets and the mobs themselves, especially the actual hub bit. There was none of the actual main creatures like the Creeper, Chicken Jockey, or even Steve. Didn't see them once at all throughout the parks, which I think was a bit of a shame. I'd like to see what it's like at Alton Towers and see how that incorporates it, but I just think from what I did see at Gardaland, Minecraft Meet the Mobs would be better suited at Alton Towers than it would have been at Gardaland. Again, another one of those parks that didn't really need it, especially internationally. Again, it draws a lot of fans, but ultimately, if it's only going to be at a UK theme park, it doesn't really make sense for it to be somewhere in Italy. Having an 11 o'clock ride close was nice. Would have been nice to see a little bit better lighting on some of the rides. I know Blue Tornado had quite a cool one where it had like a massive light beam focus on the ride as it goes up the lift hill. Stuff like Oblivion as well would have been nice to see a bit more better track on there. Raptor was cool. It had the flashing sirens on the lift hill, but it would have been nice to see that on the track as well. I think that definitely the best bit of lighting though was Wolf Legend itself. Seeing the purple lighting as the drop tower comes through the Wolf's Mouth was really nice to see there as well. Overall though, it's a decent park and for the most part we made a really good time of it. It's just like I said, it's not one of those parks that I think has ultimately A, lived up to expectations, or B, given me the urge to want to go back to visit there. But I hope you did enjoy the video guys. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future content. But without further ado, we'll see you for the next theme park update. Until then, cheerio!